Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we'll meet the man who's going to be responsible for one of the biggest terracotta warrior displays outside of China, Frank Marquette. Frank, thanks for joining here today.
Well, thank you, Aaron. Nice to be here.
And what we're talking about is a display that's going to be taking place and being built in Janice Hawkins Park as part of a big new cultural arts center that's being developed. Kind of gives an idea of the project and how you came to get involved with this project.
Well, right now the working name is going to be the International Arts Park, and that's where we're going for.
Yeah.
And what happened was I was contacted by Whaley Construction and told that there was something special happening in Troy, and I was asked to come out. So I flew out. I was taken to the site and introduced to some of the challenges they were having from a design perspective.
And so we're building, basically, you're building out there what's essentially going to be the terracotta warriors, 200 terracotta warriors. A lot of people have familiar with these terracotta warriors in China. There's been a donation made, and these are going to go in a display that's going to look fairly similar to what you might see if you're going to China.
Absolutely. Chancellor Hawkins has relationships over there, which will be highlighted in the exhibit. And through those relationships, the donation was made and more were acquired. This will be by far the largest installation of this type, as far as we know, outside of Xi'an.
Yeah. And so you are helping design, putting these together, filling up the amphitheater for those folks who haven't seen what's going on. Talk a little about the design and the concept and what folks can expect to see once this is finished.
Yeah, that's something I'm pretty big on. In industrial design, it's always best to start with a premise, or sometimes they call it a concept. I would call it a premise. I have to go even to another level up. I think the higher level you go in terms of getting clear on the emotional experience, not necessarily the intellectual one, that you're going to try to deliver. If you can engage people emotionally, they'll be receptive to what the information you're sharing. So what I did, it was a nice sunny day. I laid out there on the bank overlooking the natural amphitheater and just hung out and waited to come for me. 200 terracotta warriors going into this park. What's the right way to do this? So instead of trying to reason it out and make sense of it, I just thought, what would be an experience that would move me? And actually, funnily enough, an old Roman philosophical quote came to me. And if I can quote it properly, it is a reference to spirit. And what he said was, "Spirit is an infinite sphere whose circumference is everywhere and center nowhere."
So how does that play in?
Exactly. Sounds very abstract, very arty, but when I looked at the amphitheater, I thought, this is a sphere. This is an amphitheater. It's concentric rings whose center really is nowhere and circumference as well. You can stand anywhere you want in an amphitheater and you feel like you're centered. And if you're in the middle of the circumference or the edge, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, after that, I was told about the 1-2-1 program, where we have students overseas and they come here for 2 years and they go back. Center everywhere, circumference nowhere. They can come here and center. Who knows where they're going to go? And funnily enough, when you get clear on your premise and get clear on your concept, and every design element and everything you do points toward that, the experience that you're first trying to achieve when you're conceptualizing is delivered in the actual final product. If you focus on the objects, for example, oh no, we have 200 warriors, what are we going to do with them? You'll start doing this and that and the other thing. But if you're clear on your premise and you're clear on your concept, it'll tell you where they go. And when the people come to experience it, they'll have the experience that you were trying to deliver from the very beginning.
And you get the chance to see it. Now, I've had the chance to see the actual terracotta warriors in Xi'an, and it's a sight to see. And the fact that same experience is going to be translated here in Troy, I know you're trying to emulate that sort of concept from there to here. That's what you're going to kind of see when you're in the amphitheater, right? Something similar to what you'd see if you were over in China.
Yes, indeed. There's sort of two phases. One is the exhibit in the International Arts Park. So that's going to have the physical installation full scale. You'll be able to walk around, be in their presence as if you were in Xi'an. The other one's going to be more of an educational museum-like experience. And what's going to happen there is you're going to actually be able to walk into a themed environment that's on the second floor, and you'll be down underground and you'll be walking as if you are on the archaeological dig. There'll be warriors appearing from the mud. There'll be videos telling stories about warrior spirit. We have a very strong east-west theme we're bringing into this. East meets west. We have Grecian Roman architecture in the park, and we have Asian architecture in the form of the warriors.
Yeah.
So we're finding a way to blend these two harmoniously. And so there'll be an immersive outdoor experience walking through the park, and there'll be an immersive indoor experience where you're walking intimately in the pit and learning more about the warriors.
And it definitely sounds, it's almost a theme park kind of concept where you're immersed in a part of it and educational and learning. And I know this is going to be something that folks are excited to see. We're running out of time. I know we could probably carry on for probably a good long time to talk about this, but I'm looking forward to the finished product, and I know you're excited to get back out there and finish the product as well. And I want to thank you for joining us here and just giving us a little inside the artist's mind of how we're going to see this play out in the amphitheater. So thank you for joining us today. So,
absolutely, Aaron.
and thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.